morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad that you're here. Your soul is in the right place at the right time, and we're going to sing about it.
That's right. Good morning, everyone. We have our wonderful SLC choir joining us today. Let's all sing together. Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be in my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your souls are welcome, and all our souls are welcome here. Yeah, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Let me see your hands up. Come on. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome here. That's right. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome
All right, our souls are welcome here. Welcome, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you this morning.
And it's good to see you, Reverend James, as well. And we greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is sacred, and all that is holy. And in the warm and loving energy of this community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and of course, the beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time today, whether it is online or here in person, we especially want to welcome you, because we know that you are not here by accident. Every single one of us is here by
Divine appointment.
And we're just so very excited to get together today. We're excited about our guest speaker, and the excitement continues when you silence your electronic devices. And also, please refrain from flash photography during the service.
Let us take this time to commune with the presence. And remember that we are living and moving and having our beingness in this force, this energy field, this love. And we come from this presence, and it can never leave us or forsake us. And our task is simply to turn toward it always in every thought we have, every word we speak, every action that we take. And as we do, we can say without a doubt that when you see me, you see the presence that sent me in all of us. For we are one in the Spirit. We're grateful to be the vessels and the vehicles of this presence. We come under its government and its guidance. And as we allow it to have its way with us, releasing and letting go of any attachments to our own understanding, then the truth of who and what we are begins to radiate like never before. We know that the Spirit of the living God needs us to shine our light. And so we let our light shine before all those who cross our path. So it reminds them of who and what they are. It ignites something within them. So as we go forth today, we serve as reminders of each other, that each of us are unique, unrepeatable expressions of the divine, here to be that presence, so we may anchor all the good in our life and in our world. For this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth doing our part to expand the all good. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, we have a very important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center that's reflected in our mission statement. And I invite you to join in as we affirm it together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out that as we do our part to live and fulfill these 5 basic universal principles that are really the underpinning of everything that we do, everything that we teach, and hopefully as we live. Let's again affirm them together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action. Well, as has been alluded to and we've talked about the last few weeks, we have a special guest speaker today that I've known for quite some time because we were in ministerial school together. I think he was a year ahead of me, as I recall. But it's so long ago, who remembers those things anymore? But Ron Palumbo has been working in Unity churches for over 30 years. And he's worked with Unity churches, and he's worked with Unity churches, and he's played with Unity churches. He's prayed with Unity churches. So you get a chance to pray and play with him today during the service, as well as the workshop this afternoon. And so I just want to let you know that not only he's done that, but he's also the person that taught me how to play poker. So he's a multidimensional being. So give a special warm welcome to Ron Palumbo, Reverend Ron Palumbo.
Well, today is Gratitude Sunday, and it's the Sunday after we have our last Faith in Action talk the week before. And I want to tell you that this has been one of the most successful Faith in Actions we've had. We didn't have maybe as big a groups as we've had in the past, but this book was so well received, and it was so exciting to see how everyone was responding. And I want to just thank everybody, the home hosts and facilitators, the participants, the artists rocked it this year. Paula kind of rocked it with that song. You may have noticed. The staff members that supported me, and of course the people who edited the workbook, because my typing ain't the greatest. So thank you, everybody. It was just an amazing 7 weeks, and Reverend James's talks were wonderful, and I think we walked through it together in such a beautiful way. Thank you.
And thank you for all your work that you did behind the scenes. Yes. And for your wonderful talks as well. So to round it all out, just want to let you know that come to the table. Our Thanksgiving communion service is this Wednesday, November the 23rd, and it's going to take place at 7 p.m. And you have an opportunity to commune with us and have an intimate conversation this Thanksgiving Eve. And what we're going to do this Thanksgiving Eve, through the symbolic meal of communion, we will deepen our spiritual conversation with each other and the divine in gratitude and love. This is going to include myself as one of the facilitators, along with Reverend Deborah and our chaplains, and the music is going to be by Laurie Shiflett. So we thank her for her presence, and look forward to you being here to commune with us on Wednesday evening. And now we're going to have Paula Mandela to come forward to share a little bit about the Advent Spiral event that's coming up.
That's right.
The slide says 6 o'clock and not 7.
Oh, okay. Well, it is 6 o'clock. Yeah. Okay, so The Advent Spiral, Advent Garden Spiral, Wednesday, December 7th. How many of you have ever attended this ceremony? Okay. So if you haven't, you should talk to one of those people and find out a little bit about their experience. It's a very beautiful, earth-based candle lighting ceremony where we create a spiral here in the sanctuary with cedar garland and decorate it with symbols from the four kingdoms of the earth, the mineral, plant, animal, and human in its highest form. And then there's a candle lighting ceremony where you walk the spiral to the center and get that light from within, which is what we have to do at this time of year always. Go within for the light. The sun is not as intense as you probably felt on your way in this morning. So please plan to come, and it's going to be at 6 o'clock that evening on the 7th, Wednesday the 7th. So we'll see you there. And my sister Catherine and I are going to provide some music for that event. And I also want to say, well, you may have noticed that we have a few choir members here today, so let's give them a hand. At long last, we are reconvening the choir, and we are planning to prepare for the traditional candlelight service that we always have on Christmas Eve on the 24th. If you have any interest that you think you might like to sing in the choir, you can contact me at my email, pmandela@slcworld, and we can talk about that. So I'll look forward to talking with you, and I hope you look forward to hearing the choir. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Well, in addition to offering, being a guest speaker this morning, Reverend Ron is going to offer a workshop called Using the Law of Attraction Wisely. And that's going to start at 1 p.m. today. And if you want to take a deeper dive, you can join Ron for the Healing and Empowerment series that's going to take place Monday and Tuesday evening. And you can register online or at the hub, and we invite you to be part of that. I'm sure it's going to be a very transformative experience for you. And I know others have taken it and have talked how ravingly powerful it was for their life.
And remember, there are many activities that foster transformation in our lives here at Spiritual Life Center. You can check out our weekly small groups and other offerings, and you can discover all of the happenings by going to out in the courtyard, read the bulletin board, chat with the ladies at the hub, or of course, you can always go to our website where possibly everything you ever wanted to know, at least about SLC, might be there.
And who knows what else might be on there. At this time, we invite any of our board members and chaplains to please stand. And the chaplains are wearing the white stoles, and they're holding the prayer consciousness for our community throughout the week. But today, they're also available to pray with you if you have a challenge that you're going through or growing through, or you just have something you want to celebrate or some joyful thing to leverage you into a next level. They're available to be with you immediately after the service in the courtyard. So we thank them for their contribution and the consciousness that they bring. And our board members are doing the very important work behind the scenes that often folks do not see, but they bring their time, their talent, their skills to keep us moving forward as a community, and we appreciate them immensely. And if you have any questions of any of our board members, feel free to ask them, and I'm sure they'll answer them to the best of their ability. So we thank them for their contribution and service to our community.
We love to greet our newcomers, and in a moment we will ask you to raise your hand. But first, we want you to know there are many ways to become connected at Spiritual Life Center. And one of the ways to do that is to fill out the welcome card. Now, the welcome card is available online because you can become connected online as well. If you go to our website and fill out the card and submit it, then we'll get back to you. If you're here, and raise your hand and keep it up until we find you, and then fill out that card, take it to the courtyard to the welcome table, and there is a gift and a very warm welcome for you.
So if you're here for the very first time, we just invite you to raise your hand. Any first-timers here this morning? If you got your hands up, any new people? Well, it looks like we may know each other, but as I always say, okay, keep your hand up there, yes. In some way, shape, or form, we're all new if we're different today than we were yesterday, and hopefully we'll continue to grow, develop, and unfold, so we're always new. But if you're here just for the first time, we thank you. And we also, anyone that's online, you can fill out the card to connect with us, and we'll let you know what activities you can join with us online as well. And so at this time, we acknowledge those folks who are new, either online or in person. We affirm you. We see the magnificence in you. And at this time, I invite you to greet our newcomer as well as each other in a manner that feels comfortable for you, and just claim you are marked and glad you are here.
All right, are you ready to have a blessed day? One, two,
let's do it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Have a blessed day. We will have a blessed day. We will have a blessed day together. We will have a blessed day. We will have a blessed day. We will have a blessed day together. Blessed day. Blessed day. Blessed day. A blessed day. God is here to bless our days. God is here to bless our days. God is here to bless our days forever. God is here to bless our days. God is here to bless our days. God is here to bless our days forever. Blessed
Thank you. Please be seated. And now I invite us all to speak out loud our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now, in preparation for meditation, we're going to sing this beautiful chant by Karen Drucker, which was requested by Reverend Ron Palumbo. And we always love our Karen Drucker, don't we? Yes, we do. So I hear this is Ron's favorite song, or one of his favorite songs. The favorite. Oh, the favorite. Okay.
am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so
Let us take that energy of being blessed and claim it. Claim it as our own always. And we deepen that energy field as we engage in this meditation experience. And we focus on gratitude. So take a deep breath and release. And focus on that breathing as you breathe in and out and the sound of my voice. As you are both relaxed yet alert. As you feel your body temple touch the chair that you're sitting in, or sensing the points of contact underneath you. And as you breathe in and breathe out, notice the rise and the fall of your belly with each of those breaths. And know that with each in-breath and out-breath, you're becoming more and more relaxed. Relaxing the muscles around your face. around your eyes. As you glance downward or close your eyes, you limit any external visual stimulation. And you're sensing into the body. Continue to take those breaths in and out. Notice them. For it's the essence of life. If any tension that you may have brought with you is released. I invite you to consider your experience with gratitude in terms of your health. Have you been grateful for the health of your body? Remembering that as long as we're breathing, there is more right with us, with our health, than what is wrong. What is our experience with gratitude in terms of our physical well-being? Our ability to move around, to digest our food, to take in our water. Your ability to breathe without actively trying. The ability to see, to listen, to taste, or to feel. Just noticing without judgment. Your experience with gratitude around your physical well-being. And gratitude for being alive. And shifting now your awareness to reflecting regarding your experience of gratitude around relationship with others. Where has gratitude been with your relationships? Where has gratitude been unrecognized or forgotten with relationships? Who have you been most grateful for in your life? Who could you feel more grateful for if you wanted to? How would you express this gratitude? Now consider your experience with gratitude in terms of abundance, prosperity, and financial well-being. Where has your gratitude been in terms of that well-being? The value that you put onto your finances or income or savings. Just noticing any experience you have around gratitude in terms of your abundance and your prosperity. Where has your gratitude been present? Has gratitude been unrecognized or forgotten in some way? Simply noticing without judgment and seeing if you can open to more gratitude around your abundance, around your prosperity. And now consider your experience with gratitude in terms of divine protection. feelings of safety, feelings of someone or something looking out for you, feelings that the energy of the Spirit of the living God is with you always. Perhaps there's a sense of community or connection that you value in terms of protection. Where has your gratitude been present in terms of knowing that you are divinely protected? Has gratitude for protection been unrecognized or forgotten about? How might you feel more gratitude for a sense of protection in the here and now? Noting your experience with gratitude helps you recognize where gratitude has been present and perhaps where gratitude has been unrecognized or forgotten. It is important to notice our experience with gratitude without self-judgment, without self-criticism. Simply noticing our experience and seeing how we can open to more feelings of gratitude around our health, around our relationships, around our abundance, as well as feelings of divine protection. Take that in and know that you can activate your gratitude muscle in every area of your life at any time. But most importantly, right here and now. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen.
need so much more. There's so much to be thankful
Well, great morning. Thank you. I want to just let you know that the talk today is about divine gratitude, and I have a tremendous sense of gratitude to be here today. And I had shared that when I first walked in, I got here like an hour before the first service, and like everybody that I encountered offered to help me and ask what they could do, and da-da-da. And I said, this is the truth. I've had more loving support for the first, for walking in here than I had in the last 3 or 4 churches combined. Now, don't get me wrong. They all supported, the guest minister. But, I was just like, wow, this place is just amazing with loving energy and helpfulness and all that stuff. And I kind of shared this in the first service, but it's worth repeating. My favorite song is I Am So Blessed. And the rendition that you wonderful folks did of I Am So Blessed, I didn't admit it the first time, but I was teary-eyed both services for that song. That was the most beautiful rendition I've ever heard of I Am So Blessed, and that was, wow. Yeah. And then what I added in the first service, please don't tell Karen Drucker I said that. Because I love Karen, too, but this was the best. So anyway, talking about gratitude, I want to share one of the stories that I truly, truly love. It's actually my favorite story. And because this is such a helpful, loving ministry, I'm going to invite you to help tell the story with me. So are you guys in a helpful mood? Yes. All right. I like this. Good stuff. There was this very beautiful, well-organized monastery, about 45, 50 monks in there. And what happened is they got a new abbot. Of course, the abbot is the head of a monastery. And what happens is they get up in the morning, 6 o'clock or whatever, they go to the chapel and they do their morning vespers for about an hour, 2 hours, whatever, and then they go to breakfast. And of course, the abbot is at the head table, and he started this new procedure where he would stand up and sing out to his congregation of monks, "Good morning," and all the monks would sing back, "Good morning." God, you guys are good. And it sounds like you've been to the monastery, too. I like that. Well, anyway, initially it was really very exciting, and everybody was liking this new energy and all that stuff. But as the weeks went on and on and on, some of the monks, we all have these little ego trips. We like things done our way. And this new procedure was starting to make just a couple of monks a little uncomfortable, but one monk was getting very frustrated with this new routine. And so this one morning, the abbot stands up and he sings out, "Good morning," and his monks sing back, "Good morning," except for our frustrated monk. He sang out, "Good evening." Now, even though there's 45, 50 monks singing good morning, the abbot heard the disharmony. He heard the dissonance. He heard the out of synchronization of his monk's response. So he looks out at his monks and he says, "Someone chanted evening." I'm going to tell you why this is my favorite story. How many people here are familiar with Eric Butterworth? Oh, yeah. Okay, Eric is one of my main gurus. And Eric, when he was a teenager, he thought he was going to become an opera singer. Now, when I was a teenager, I totally resisted everybody telling me I should have been a unity minister for years, and I just stuffed it. James didn't think he was going to be a minister when he was a teenager either. Most ministers don't know that's what we're going to end up doing. And what happens is, well, in my case, I could say I surrendered to it, and I think that's what most of the ministers do. They surrender to that guidance, but it wasn't part of the game plan for me. So anyway, my question for us is, like the monastery when the abbot heard the dissonance and the disharmony, what do we do when our life has some dissonance, some disharmony, some out of synchronization, or maybe we have some choices and we don't know which is the best way to go? And we have all kinds of things. We could have doubts about things. We could have fears about things. What do we do when all this stuff comes up in our consciousness? How do we deal with it? I'm going to give you a hint. The first 4 words of Scripture give us the answer. What are the first 4 words of Scripture? In the beginning, God. In the beginning, God. Thank you, yes. In fact, it is very clearly stated in 1 John chapter 5, verse 4. Whatever is born of God conquers the world. I'm going to read that again. Whatever is born of God conquers the world. Let's affirm this together. Whatever is born of God conquers the world. Dear ones, born of God kind of indicates that you put God at the beginning of the situation. So when fear comes up, when doubt comes up, no matter what comes up, disharmony, disorder, chaos, put God first. That's where we really get to feel our blessings, and we feel blessed. And so we could go to a high level of gratitude when we feel the solution and the resolution and the guidance on how to get there. So basically, putting God at the beginning is what I'm calling going back to basics. In fact, let me tell you how important it is to go back to basics. How many people here have ever heard of Vince Lombardi? Almost this must be a football town. I love it. Okay, basically, Vince Lombardi was probably the most successful professional football coach. He won 5 championships over his 10 years at Green Bay. He went from, before they hired him, they had a 1-win season. They hired Vince Lombardi, and they had a winning season. And I can't remember how many games they won, but basically, and then from then on, they just got better and better. And out of the 5 championships he won, the last 2 were Super Bowls on top of everything else. So that's Vince Lombardi. And Vince Lombardi, here's how he went back to basics. Now remember, the first training camp, he's dealing with professional football players, plus the cream of the crop of the high school graduates in the draft. He would pick up a football and he would say, "Gentlemen, this is a football." That's how he started his first camp every year. How many people here have ever heard of John Wooden? The most successful college basketball coach of all time. He won something like 12 national championships. He goes back to the basics just like this. Now remember, he had players from his previous year's national championship, and he had the cream of the crop of the high school draft picks for his basketball team, and he would start out by teaching the first class how to put on your socks and your shoes, making them tight and snug and all. So, total back to basics. How many people here know of Myrtle Fillmore? Okay, beautiful. She went back to basics. She was diagnosed to have 6 months to live, and when she basically heard that as a child of God, we do not inherit sickness, she took that one statement she heard at a New Thought revival, and she spent 6 to 8 hours a day in prayer and meditation. She had an empty chair in front of her with a picture of Jesus on it, and she went through all these forgiveness things to her different parts of her body temple, asking forgiveness for her misjudging them being sickly and weakly for her entire life. So what happened is she basically had such a high level of health and healing that for the next almost 40 years of her life, she had no illnesses, no bedridden days or anything like this, whereas the first 40 years, she was sickly and weakly continuously. So anyway, that was Myrtle. Now Charles, Papa Charlie, basically, he had, going back to basics, as our first precept, our first principle in unity, that God the good is everywhere present. And so basically, the way that when I first got into unity back in the 70s, the way they said it was there's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good omnipotent. Now I like the way you guys have it worded. It's much better, but I don't know the way you said it. So let's do the original way that Papa Charlie wrote it. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good omnipotent. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good omnipotent. Wow, that's a powerful statement back to basics. Powerful statement back to basics. There's a story that really, for me, encapsulates what this journey of Classroom Earth is all about. And it's very interesting. It had a very interesting twist on this story. It happened to me last week when I was at Edgewater Unity in Edgewater, Florida. Jack Cornfield and Mark Victor Hansen wrote Chicken Soup of the Soul. How many people are familiar with the 30 volumes of Chicken Soup of the Soul? Yeah, okay. Anyway, it was either the first or the second issue that came out that shared this story. Now, Jack did a speaking engagement somewhere in Asia, but he and his wife made it a vacation, a business vacation, because after he finished doing his talking, they toured parts of Southeast Asia, and they were spending time in Thailand going to Buddhist temples. And what he shared in the book is that after a while, they all are starting to blend together because there was so much similarity in all that until they came to this one temple that they'll never forget, and Jack actually wrote a story about it. Basically, the monastery that had this, it was a 10-foot tall golden Buddha. And what happened was, in 1956, the government of Thailand was going to put a superhighway through where this monastery used to exist. So they had to move the monastery. You know how governments are. They get what they want when they want it, right? So anyway, they had to move the monastery, and so they had this crane come in, and unfortunately, it was starting to rain, but the crane got all hooked up with the Buddha statue, and they were lifting the statue, and the statue started cracking, and the crane was starting to bend. It wasn't strong enough to pick up the statue, and they realized they must have way underestimated the weight of this. Oh, it was about a 12-foot clay statue. And so what happened is the head of the monastery told them to put the statue down, get a bigger crane tomorrow, we're going to redo this. So they covered it with a tarp because the rain was coming down and there were some cracks in the statue now. And so basically that night, he's having a hard time sleeping. He's thinking and worrying about this, their big Buddha statue. So he goes out with a flashlight, and he's just walking around checking, under the tarp. He's walking around looking at what the statue is looking like after the cracking and all. And as he goes past one of the cracks, something very bright reflects back to him. And so he checks it again, and it's very bright. So he goes in and gets a hammer and a chisel, and he takes out a chunk of this clay. And as he keeps taking out some clay, it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And so he keeps working on this all night long, and by the morning, what he did with this 12-foot clay Buddha statue turned out to be a 10-foot solid gold Buddha. And he was astounded, of course. And what they realized much later is that hundreds and hundreds of years ago, Mongol groups and different groups would just, raid and do all that kind of stuff. And the monastery knew that their golden Buddha would be devastated and, dismantled and taken for gold. So what the monks did is they covered it with literally 6 to 8, 10 inches of clay throughout the whole statue. So it was a clay Buddha, is what everybody thought. Well, unfortunately, apparently all the monks were killed by these marauders, and nobody knew what was underneath the clay. This priceless golden Buddha. And what happened was the discovery of that just changed the consciousness. But what I love about the story is it's very reflective of us. We have so much garbage put onto us by unknowing parents, unknowing teachers, unknowing peers, unknowing so much stuff. We get so much junk bombarded on us. And when we are born, we come into the world like sponges. We take everything in. We take it all in, whether we know we're doing it consciously or not. So when you're told, like, I had a beautiful program for many years. If I spilled a glass of milk or something like that, I would say to myself, "You stupid idiot." And the reason I said that is that's what my program was. If I spilled a glass of milk, or any of my siblings did, Mom or Dad would say, "You stupid idiot." So guess what? I had that program. So even when Mom and Dad were no longer there, guess who did the "you stupid idiot"? I did it to myself. So just like the clay Buddha, we have so much garbage on top of us, we don't see the gold. We don't see the divine within us. So one of the things that we're here on Classroom Earth, actually the main thing we're here on Classroom Earth, is to wake up to our true identity. It's part A. And part B is to live from that consciousness. So first we have to know who we are. Who are we? Who are you? Okay, let me give you the answer. Repeat after me. I am a beautiful, beloved, empowered child of God. Now let's say the whole thing. I am a beautiful, beloved, empowered child of God. Dear ones, that's who we really are, regardless of what anybody else has told us, what teachers have told us, forget all that garbage, because it's garbage. The truth is we are all created in the image and likeness of the divine. We are the divine expressing here on Classroom Earth. We have to wake up to the divine, and then we have to live from the divine. That's what Unity's 5 precepts are about. The fifth one is we have to live our truth. Knowing the previous 4 are meaningless unless we live it, right? Yeah. Okay, so the bottom line is, I want us to take a second, though, and let's say this word beloved. Beloved. Let's say it again. Beloved. One more time. Beloved. How do you feel when you say that word? What does it feel like? Warm. Okay, cheerful. Very good. Bottom line is we have this tremendous divinity within us, and it just loves us unconditionally, and it is always here for us to guide us and to bless us. So we could always be in a state of gratitude, just becoming aware of who we are, that we're the image and likeness of the divine. Isn't that a reason to be grateful? Yeah, and the part that we're moving into consciousness about, and we're just barely scratching the surface, is the empowered part of our truth. So let's say our true identity again. I am a beautiful, beloved, empowered child of God. Dear ones, we're just starting to scratch the surface on the empowered piece. But we're all moving in this direction because this divine within us is greater than anything out there. Now, it may take us a while to start getting it, meaning 1 or 2 or more lifetimes, but we're getting it. It's coming along. So keep the faith, keep the faith. We're moving in the right direction. So it's all about knowing our true identity. And one of the things, how many people remember when we were kids, there used to be a TV program, I can't remember the name of it, but they would play songs, and there was a red ball that would bounce on top of the word that you're supposed to be singing. You know what anybody remember that? Okay, about 4 or 5 of us. This is good. So the bottom line is what I tell people is keep your eye on the bouncing ball, because people get so distracted with ego traps that we forget the big picture. Now, somebody's going to say, next to you might say the word beloved, and you're saying beloved, or vice versa. And we allow our ego traps to focus on the difference. You know, one of the things, my very first minister, Paul Funk, who was a beautiful, beautiful soul, if you ask him what's the difference between unity and science of mind, Paul never wanted to go there and would not go there. He would say, oh, we may sing a little bit more than them, or something like that. He's like, why focus on the differences when there's so much similarities? It's an ego trap. That's why we do it. Our ego wants us to be alone in our perspective, and if somebody else isn't in the same consciousness, we cause separation. In fact, one of the biggest things I talk about is the misusing of our spiritual faculties. The most misused spiritual faculty, in my opinion, is judgment. We are never here to judge someone else. Never. We are here to judge what is best. I am here to judge what is best for Ron Palumbo, period. Has nothing to do with anybody else. And if I judge somebody else, I'm misusing my judgment faculty. And what's worse, we almost always attach condemnation to it. It's an ego trap. Eliminate it. Get rid of that garbage. It does not serve your divinity. Okay? Imagine what the world would look like and will look like someday when we don't judge other people. Imagine. We just accept, oh, you know, that's Ron. Yeah, he likes Italian food. Now, me personally, I hate Italian food, but Ron loves Italian food. What if we didn't judge other people? Can you imagine what the world is going to look like? Hold that vision. Hold that vision, because that's where we are going. So let's again say our true identity. I am a beautiful, beloved, empowered child of God. Dear ones, that's the truth of who we are. I have this thing that I created a couple decades ago called OHOs. It's optional. What's that first word? Optional homework opportunity. What's that last word? Opportunity. And the reason I call it an opportunity, because every challenge in our life is an opportunity. It's not a punishment from God, which I was taught growing up. It's not anything to hurt us ever. It's to help us. But we have to be aware that it's here for our growth and our good. So optional homework opportunity. Here's what your optional homework opportunity is for those that want to take a step forward in their consciousness. Start affirming your true identity several times a day. Okay? It's really important. And now I know it sounds very simplistic, and you might just, poof it off because it sounds so simple, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. As we keep affirming our true identity, it's going to sink deeper and deeper and deeper. What is your true identity? I am a beautiful, beloved, empowered child of God. And what's going to happen over time, you're going to start seeing yourself treating yourself more lovingly and more respectfully. I had firsthand experience with this. I remember I was trying to shed some excess weight. This is several years ago. I need to start doing that again, by the way. But several years ago, I basically was trying to shed some excess weight, and I had these rules that I set up to help me do that. One of the things was I wasn't going to eat anything after 10 o'clock at night. Second thing was I wasn't going to do desserts hardly ever, and no more than like first and maybe half of a second, whereas I used to do 3 or 4 plates of the main entry. So I changed all that. So anyway, this one night, true story, it's about 11:30, 12:30 at night, and we had some pie in the refrigerator. So I go to the refrigerator, I cut a piece of pie, I'm halfway through the pie, and I remember, oh shoot, I'm not supposed to be eating after 10 o'clock, and certainly not dessert stuff. This is a true story. Now, remember I told you about how I used to, Ron, you stupid idiot, when I would do something wrong, because that was the program. I blessed myself. I totally let it go. I finished eating the pie and I enjoyed it. That was so out of character for who I used to be. And I thought, wow, that's not even me who's doing something like that. But what happens is not only are you going to be more loving toward yourself, I'm going to promise you that you keep working on this, I am a beautiful, beloved, empowered child of God, and someday, all of a sudden, you're going to know who everybody else is. You're going to know it. And you're going to come from a different consciousness when you interact with them. You're going to be more loving, more forgiving, just more harmonious with the energy of everybody else. So that's the journey we're going on, dear ones. That's where we're going. Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Does this sound like let peace begins with me when we treat everybody else more respectfully and lovingly? We sing it. Why don't we just do it? Go for it. I want you to know that saying this true identity thing, again, as simplistic as it sounds, it makes a difference. The first ministry I had after ordination, I had a dear friend. Her and her husband used to come to all the classes that I used to teach, midweek classes, and on Sundays. Now, she was a retired school teacher, and her and her husband basically, actually, after I was there for about 4 or 5 months, Marie came up to me, and now she's the retired school teacher. She said, Ron, I want to tell you, when you first had us repeating, back then I was only saying, I'm a beautiful, beloved child of God. I didn't have the empowered part down yet. So she said, when you had us repeating this every Sunday, and sometimes on Wednesday night too, I wanted to slap the heck out of you. And she said, but after about 4 or 5 weeks, I started thinking, maybe it's true for me. And then another 4 or 5 weeks, I started really getting it. I really am this beautiful, beloved child of God. And so, folks, it's a process of sinking deeper and deeper, and then at some point, it's going to change our behavior towards ourselves, and then eventually toward everyone. So don't take the optional homework opportunity lightly. Say your true identity. Do at least a set of 10 a day, minimum. Okay? And for those of you that are taking the workshop, I'm going to give you some additional tools around that and how to make it even more impactful. So this afternoon, how many people here are planning to attend the workshop? 3 of us, 4 of us. I love it. This is exciting. For all the rest of you, I'm going to invite you. Now, let me tell you something. These are attendees that said this, the most powerful workshop ever. One chiropractor said it's the most powerful thing he's ever experienced in his life. Many people have had physical healings, relationship healings, have gotten more work, better jobs, increased income. Folks, it's an immersion workshop. We're going to be doing exercises. We're going to be changing our consciousness. Remember when Jesus said, hey, you guys aren't getting it. You're supposed to have life and have it, how? Abundantly. When we get rid of the clay that's covering us, or the garbage, I call it, when we get rid of that, the golden Buddha shines. And that's what happens to the people that take the workshop. We do the exercises to get rid of the garbage. Take out all negative energy between you and any other person alive or dead. So basically, if you could attend the workshop, please do it. It will be the best gift you can give yourself. If you can't attend the workshop, you have other plans, I'm going to invite you to postpone the plans. Come to the workshop anyway. It's going to be worth it. If you really can't attend it, previous attendees kept asking me, where can I buy your book? Where can I buy your book? I didn't want to write the book, but I did write the book because they would not stop asking me, where can I buy it? The entire workshop is in book form. And now we just, after the first service, we got it set up that if you want, you could purchase the workshop. Go to the hub and they'll tell you how to do that. So we are going to record the workshop today. So you're going to have several opportunities to get the information. Again, it's very empowering. And what you can do if you're unable to do any of the above, at least do your optional homework opportunities. You will be blessed. Thank you. Thank you.
Ron, good to reconnect with you after all these years and to bless our community with your presence today.
Thank you, sir.
And just a reminder, I don't think we mentioned it earlier, today's Pie Sunday, because it is Gratitude Sunday. And unlike the pie that he was eating, we have prayed out all the calories in our pies. So you don't have to worry about that part. So anyway, I think there's some pies going to be available in the courtyard, and we invite you to be part of that. You can do that before you go to the workshop today. And just let you know that next week I'll be talking about the gifts of faith and hope. It's really the first week of Advent for the Advent season, so we invite you to be part of that experience next week. So we look forward to joining in that consciousness together. And for those who are online, we invite you to send a gift to Spiritual Life Center if you've been blessed by what you've heard today, no matter what time you may be listening to it, live or in a recording, to support Spiritual Life Center so we can continue to spread this consciousness to all those who are open and receptive to receiving that in their life. It makes a difference. And the more people that begin to vibrate at this level, the more our world will get to a point where we'll transform the entire planet in which we live. And that's really our opportunity to do that. So if you want to give to us, if you're online, you can simply text SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. It'll take you through the steps so that you can give online. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, click the Donate tab, and it'll give you other opportunities to give, including sending a check by mail. So we thank you for your presence, and we thank those who are here today. And for those who are giving today, we just invite you to take your gift, your love offering, and symbolically raise it to the heavens. And if you're already giving online or electronically, know that you're in a flow of the principle that says you can never outgive the presence of God. And whatever you give out comes back to you in so many different ways that you never imagined and from directions you never have thought of. And with that awareness, I invite us together to affirm our offertory blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
I may never climb a mountain, so I can see the world from there.
Thank you for that reminder that indeed we are blessed, and you have been a blessing to us today. Thank you all from our choir today. So let's take a moment and just remember that we're always living in the presence of God. This is where we come from. This is all the qualities that we have because we have all the qualities of this presence. So we bless those who have blessed us today with your gift or your offering to support this community, to be a place for those who are looking to grow, develop, and unfold. And remember that indeed that they're blessed, that each and every individual is beautiful. Each individual is indeed what is the second word? Beloved. Yes, as well as a empowered child of God. And we affirm that for all of us and for those who have supported us today. And we look at all of those who have left prayers in the prayer box. And we are reminded that in this school of life, we have challenges, we have setbacks, we have bumps in the road. But remember, there's a spiritual living God that we can lean on that has the answer even before we know what the prayer request is. For we're reminded, as that scripture says, before they call, I've already answered you. The Spirit of the living God has the answer. It's just waiting for us to raise our vibration, to be the gold Buddhas that we are, and raise ourselves to be one with the answer and see how Spirit does its work. And so we're grateful that we can do that we have that choice. We have that opportunity to let God be God in us. And as we do, we are one with all the answers that we could ever think about. And we can be transformed by the renewing of our minds and hearts. And collectively, we can anchor on earth the ever-expanding good, which indeed is heaven, which is here and right now. So we accept that. We are grateful for that. We express our gratitude for it. And whatever we express gratitude for, we amplify and increase and attract more of that into our life because we're seeing that, because we're coming from that awareness. And so we go forth today, knowing that this is available for those who need healing. Healing is happening now. For those who may be having challenges, that there is an answer for each and every one of you. And whatever we're going through or growing through, it is indeed for our greater good. For this is the nature of God and why we are here. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. So with that, let us affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And with that, let's sing our peace song.
My soul.
Peace and blessings to you. Have some pie. Go to the workshop. Buy Braun's book. Thank you. Have a great one.
That was so fun. Yeah.